Join us, MrTruck.com, for truck reviews, trailer reviews, and accessory reviews. Let's see, do you see a Cutty sign? I thought I saw one right in this area.
I think it's on the other side of that freaking where we came from.
Maybe it is. Here we are at Cutty's, camping out in our cabin. So Dave, do you like the cabin?
Yeah.
Home sweet home. Mr. Truck here with Bolt. I love their products. I have their padlocks, I have their trailer lock, and I have these cable locks. We use this all the time. We use this in Moab. Wherever we go, we tie, I have 3 of these, we tie all of our 4-wheelers together. So when we're sleeping, nobody sneaks off with them. Now we're up here at a trail in Texas Creek, somewhere past Canyon City. And you know, same thing, I worry when we're sleeping or doing anything else that somebody's gonna run off with these. I'm hooking this to the axle, and I just hook it through the loop. Usually I'm hooking 3 ATVs together, and then you just push this lock back in there and twist it, and you take your key out. And there you go. Now it's locked. And you can hook them so many ways. We brought 3 of them because we hook them to everything. And we'll show you how we hook it to the trailer when we're only using one of our off-roaders. But it's simple, just down the key. You only have to do that once to lock them. And to get the key to be remembered by your lock. And that's cool. Another way I tie these on the side, like if we're just using one machine, when we leave behind, I'll tie it to the trailer. It's all waterproof. It's got a cap. And you hook that in there, and now you're locked. Now to undo it, do your ignition key. That's one of the biggest things about this. I don't know if you can see my hands. Just plugging it in, and you just twist it, and boom, you're unhooked. You're doing good. Alrighty, here we are at Texas Creek. We looked all over the place. This is another MrTruck.com adventure with my son Dave. It's Dave and Dad. And we're up here in the warmer part of Colorado, which is what we wanted because most of the resorts and most of the trails we go to in the Rockies are closed until June. We were going to try to go to Red Feathers, but Red Feathers had all those fires like a lot of the mountains did. There's going to be a lot of mudslides this year. But what that means is you have to look hard in April, May to find a place that's open. And Red Feathers was getting bulldozed, the trails, because of all that tree damage. So they're knocking down trees, and so we couldn't go up there. It was our first choice. We had some other places, but this looked really interesting. It's got some really tough trails. And we're here on Highway 50 just past Canyon City. We're going to spend the night at Cutty's Hayden Creek Resort. It really looked cool, and they opened just for us for a couple of days. That was wonderful of them. But the Jeep, this is, you know, last time we took it out, my son David had to push it down the mountain because we had so many problems with it. So many problems with the fan and all that. So we got all that fixed, and now it's got a locker front and rear. They're what are they called? They're called Spartans. The back's a full locker, and the front's got a limited slip gear locker. And we changed the gears from 307 to 410. So now we should be able to climb the mountains and have some power. This will be the first time we've taken it up the hill. And my son's using his Honda, and we're going to take it up the hill and have some fun. Spend a few days down here, and it's awesome. It's, my gosh, it must be 75 degrees. So it's nice and warm, and the weather's great. It's not raining. So come join us for our trail ride. Mr. Truck here with another exciting trailer accessory review. This one's for your gooseneck trailer. It's from Gen Y Hitches. It's called the Cushion Surge Coupler. Torsion Flex. So it's kind of like a torsion axle on a horse trailer. And that, inside here are those torsions. And so as this thing flexes, those will move up and down. Gen Y hitches. All you have to do is look at them. They're built like a bulldozer. It's all heavy-duty plate metal. Make them adjustable hitches, pencil hitches, shock-absorbing hitches with torsion, like a torsion axle on a horse trailer. These things will last you forever. You cannot find a better built adjustable hitch.
I'm showing my 2014 Honda Rancher. It's manual, 420 is the size, but I've had it since 2014, and the only thing that I've done or had to do is change out the battery. So, and it's got the original tires, but it's really reliable. Haven't had any issues, haven't rolled it, haven't done anything too extreme to it, but it's really good. So, and then the automatic, where you change the gears, it makes it way more easier than a CVT. So, you know, you're not having to deal with going down the hill and going too fast. At least you can slow it down and control the speed and stuff. So it's been nice.
You've had it forever. You bought it new.
Yeah.
Well, we're still up here at Texas Creek, trying to try some trails that won't scare us to death. There's quite a few trails up here. It's 45 miles, but they really label it weird. The road was on yesterday, the one where I went airborne, had two wheels off the ground and spun sideways on the trail, said that was an easy trail, and it was no easy trail. There were 4 or 5 switchbacks we went through that were just gnarly and scary. And then the roads we did today were really good. So, and they were easy trails, but they were really cool. Yeah, Texas Creek, the north side of Highway 50 comes out of Canyon City, and the Arkansas River is right there on our side, right by the Highway 50. So we're going to try a few more things and see what we can see on better trails. There's one trail I really like, one trail that just scared the stuffings out of me. We're trying out these lockers, which is really cool. They really do a good job, and I got that new 410 gears, so I'm right now running in low range between second and third, mostly where I'm at, climbing these rocks, and does really well, pretty controllable. I need to get a throttle on this because you do bounce a lot with the rocks and these leaf springs, to where you're not steady on the throttle. If I think I had a throttle I could just set, you know, I'm usually running about 2,000 RPMs. And if I get a throttle on this, then I won't be touching the foot feet and bouncing on the foot feet going through these trails. But we're learning about this. I've got a whole new reverence, a whole new understanding of switchbacks. Because that's the problem, man. That's what I did today. Whenever a switchback was too tight, I would go up on the high side, back up, and then hit the next road straight in the middle, and that helps a lot. If it's, you know, if it's on gravel or crushed rock, there's no problem. But you go turn a corner and then there's boulders. That's what happened yesterday. I hit that boulder and the whole truck went off the ground in the front axle, and then of course I didn't have any steering, and then of course I was locked in that Spartan locker, and it steered me sideways. So, I mean, it was digging in on the right side. Normally both of them were locking in, but this some reason one was slipping or something, and it turned me right around, and that was dangerous stuff. So there I was, one wheel off the ground and stuck sideways right past the switchback. get some RPMs up here so it's a little quieter. There's third gear. Following my son David. See if you can pick a good trail. It's so hard. I mean, we tried the Onyx, we tried the state wildlife division, or whatever, BLM programs, all those apps that we have, and you know, in my opinion, they're still not as good as those books you buy that tell you all that, what the road is and pictures of it and best time of the year kind of thing. I got more information with those stupid books than I've ever had in these programs, and that's not that it should be. You should get a lot off the programs. So I don't know, but anyway, now we're in fourth gear.
Don't go away, MrTruck.tv. We'll be right back.
Plugging along, hopefully you can hear me, but this Jeep is a lot louder than any of the trucks that I review with a microphone on. Whee! Here we go, bouncing across the rocks. It would really be nice. I gotta find out what it would cost to put coils on this truck, this Jeep, because I don't think they went to coils till 95, but it really made a difference in how they ride. So I gotta see what that costs. That might be my next investment in Billy Jack, the legendary Jeep. Well, his Jeeps are mostly CJ5s, and I know he did a Scout, International Scout Jeep in one of his movies. But CJ5s, I don't fit. My belly would never squeeze in there. And a CJ7, I really wanted, but you know, those series are carbureted and rust buckets. So I just couldn't find the right combination. So here we are in that next series, the Wrangler, 1987. But yeah, I like this Texas Creek area. I mean, there's plenty of rides, you know, and I think if I was in my side-by-side Honda, I could handle little switchbacks better, but I know how to do it now. And I didn't have any problem on the switchbacks we did today. I just had that on yesterday. Yesterday was a scary day for me. And I hate getting scared on the trail because then it takes you a while to get over it. So you got to, so you can have the confidence to ride really well. And that's what it takes. You want to be confident on these trails. And I had lost some confidence yesterday, and then I got back on the way back down the mountain, and I felt pretty good. And I feel good today. We did on some difficult trails, and nothing I couldn't do. David, my son's doing really well. So hopefully we can do several of these David and Dad videos. We've done a lot of trail riding, me and David. Right now we're always trying to find something new. We've done so many trails, we want to find trails we haven't seen, like this one. Try to do Red Feathers. I've never been on, but all the forest fires we had ruined a lot of trails in the mountains. And there's going to be mudslides in the next month or so because of all the burned out trees. The Red Feathers had a bunch of bulldozers up there trying to put in new trail signs and get the trees off the trails and straighten things up. It's going to take them a few months because, you know, they couldn't do it when there's snow on the ground. So now they're up there working on that, and I want to go to Red Feathers when that's finished. But yes, indeed, it's fun taking family off-roading. And I'm not a crazy off-roader. I don't need to go 70 miles an hour across the trails. I'm happy going slow. That's how I did when I trail ride horses. I would go slow so I could daydream and enjoy the scenery. If you're flying out there, it's like being in the Baja race all the time. That's not the way I trail ride. So anyway, this has been a pretty good run. I really like the Cutty's, the Hayden Creek resort. I'm really happy with it. Happy with that Ben's, that restaurant there at the end of this trailhead. It's really nice to have a restaurant at the trailhead. You don't see that very often. And here comes some side-by-sides. Give them all the room. It's a Wildcat. I think that's that brand came back after that other company bought them out. So now they're calling them Wildcats again. Man, look at them here. That's got to be a Chinese. Ah, it's a Polaris. Two-seater. There's a few of those up here. 410 or not. I do like the government trailhead signs. They work pretty good, and some trails are great, some trails are not. This one's not bad. Just watered the trees. I'm gonna pick up some speed. Back up to third. Oh, jeez. Holy cow. That was one of the biggest things. I know the lockers were a big improvement, but just gearing from 307 to 410 was wonderful. That solved a lot of problems. Glad I got the smaller steering wheel because my belly has not shrunk. It just gives me some room. Pressure's doing good. Tack, I don't know, the speedometer's not working right. But all the important stuff's working. I just trail riding this. I actually just got a trail riding sticker instead of putting plates on this because we trailer it everywhere we're going to ride. So I don't ride this on the highway. I don't like a short Jeep on the highway. I'd rather have a 4-door on the highway, but you know, geez, that's third. Let's go back to second. trails and I had to use the roll bar to roll around a tree, I would just ride the tree around the berm. But anyway, I like the idea of roll bars and seatbelts. That's what I'm in now, just like my Pioneer Hondas. No, this trail does not look familiar to me. We'll see. There's one giant rock. They had to go around a boulder. If we see that one, we'll know we're not spinning the wrong trail. It's fun to watch the state come in here and work on these trails. They usually bring a little bulldozer or some skid loaders, and that's pretty interesting. I know that Red Feathers is having all the problems in the world right now straightening out those trails. Up there's the rock, David. I think I see the rock you were talking about. I guess we'll make it up this trail and find out for sure. So there's a place by that rock to turn around. All these chipper rocks. Oh jeez, holy cow. Oh man, this is a monster chop here. Bouncing off the ground, holy cow. Now I gotta find a little flat spot to turn around, hopefully. I thought that rock was bigger yesterday. I don't think that's the rock we're talking about. This one was a much bigger one. Because we're at the bottom. We're right in the trail. Yesterday was way up on top of the mountain. It wasn't down here in the valley. That's where we're out now. We're in the valley. There's always some boulder right next to the road on a berm. Yeah, we've done some scary things on these trails over the last 5 years or 7 years. We've been doing it. There's some washouts that we went over. That's what you gotta watch, is those mudslides this time of the year. Which we're down here, it's almost like a desert. So we haven't seen much mudslides here. There are some mountains near here where the resort is that we've seen some mudslides. But for this particular Texas Creek, I don't know. It doesn't look like a mudslide area. It's got some nasty rocks, but I don't know if they would call any of them mudslides. I think David sees something he doesn't like up here. Words of wisdom from my son Dave. That's why I want to call this series Dave and Dad. We've done more trail riding. My youngest son Eric's been with us quite a bit in the last couple of years, and his family. But yep, this is what trail riding is all about. See, the four-wheeler, your throttle is the thumb. Now on my Pioneer, it's a throttle on the floor and paddle shifters. But I'm trying to really make it smooth on the throttle, but it ain't easy, bouncing all over. Yeah, this is like high desert down here. Cactus. I saw a bunch of cactus this morning. Yep, learning all about this Jeep. This is the first real time we've taken it out. We took it up once on Monarch Pass, and we had so many problems with electrical things, and Ruben fixed all that. Problems with the fan, problems blowing fuses. So we only got part way up, and I told my son to take his ATV, so if I got in trouble on the first drive, he could pull me down the mountain. But he didn't want to do that, and that's what happened. We got to where it was just impossible to drive it. So we got the electrical fixed, and the fan fixed, and the fuses fixed, and so he had to push me down the mountain. He'd run behind me, and I'd get a little ahead of him, and he'd jump on the Jeep, and then it's get on a flat spot, and he'd push me again. So that was the first time we took it out. This is the second time, and this is after all the work we've done with redoing the electronics on it, redoing the wiring. We put a voltage regulator and a voltage kill switch, and then now we've got the new steering wheel, new seat, new bumper, new hitch, new gears, new lockers. So we're definitely, oh, there's that big rock. We are on the same road. finally found that big rock. You can see that in the cameras, but it is one big rock. Holy cow, it's about twice as big as a Jeep. Oh. So, that tells me pretty soon we will be turning around as soon as we start doing elevation. There's nothing to it driving in a valley. It's when you start climbing a mountain with a lot of switchbacks. But anyway, yeah, we're having fun. It's a cool family event. And that's why you got to do a budget thing so you can afford to do it with your family. You spend all your money buying a fancy Jeep or a Razor side by side and you don't have anything left to go do these trips. These trips get expensive. Like today we spent a big rock. David, why aren't you stopping? I'm not really sure I want to climb that rock, but I will. That's why you want to do it on budget, because you're going to have expenses camping, or if you have a trailer or a tent, all that. Geez, now we're running into all the big giant rocks on the side of the road. And I'm getting within a few inches of that rock with my windshield. Gee, Dave, I can tell we're going uphill now. Well, looky, there's breakfast for 2 days. From Barry's Den, this giant cinnamon roll. Let's see how big it is, Dave. Pick that puppy up. Does it weigh 10 pounds?
At least.
Holy cow, that's one cinnamon roll. Are you excited? You could eat half that today.
Yay.
Well, we did it. 2 days of trail riding on Texas Creek. Here somewhere in the southwestern mountains or whatever, somewhere in the middle, south middle, that's what it is. And it's not too far from Canyon City, not too far from Buena Vista, kind of in the middle there. But anyway, we're on Highway 50 right by the Arkansas River, and the Texas Creek off-road vehicle place is on the north side. A lot of trails. They're saying 45 miles of trails. I think that includes all the goat trails and crazy stuff, because we didn't quite find that many on it, but we had some good trails. We found about 2.5 trails that we really liked, and then some were just too crazy. But anyway, we almost rolled the Jeep, or I almost rolled the Jeep. You know, I've tipped my ATVs, my Honda Pioneer side-by-sides over, so I thought maybe I'd try this, but no, it's really a great Jeep. We got the 410 gears, geared it way down, which is what I needed. That was a big improvement. Then we got lockers front and rear. That was a big improvement. But I'm learning a lot about switchbacks. I didn't have much problems with the side-by-side. You just bounced around, just goosed it, and you just kind of powered your way through with momentum. On a Jeep, you don't see as much because of the hood. You got a little different visibility, and the characteristics are different. So I got up through 4 or 5 of these switchbacks, turned in a corner like I did the other one, just turned and went, and there was soft sand and big boulders. And so I jumped up on the boulders. The front of the Jeep went clear off the ground, the front axle, and then the back end was locked in. And for some reason, I don't know if one wheel slipped or whatever, but it turned me to the right. I couldn't steer it. My wheels were off the ground. So I'm sideways in the road. I'll show you a picture of that. So we were screwed. We didn't know what to do exactly, because normally I'd have a winch on the front, which I've got one coming for this, and we could pull ourselves back in line. So today I figured out how to do that. When I got into some really crazy tight switchbacks, I would turn it sideways and I'd back into the corner and then hit the trail in the middle. So I had more places to move around. And I think that's the best way to do this Jeep. But anyway, we finally got it pulled around, drove around. Actually, some other guys came along, and my son jumped on the front of the Jeep where that big old Gen Y Patriot is that I can pull myself out with. He jumped up and down on that. Another guy jumped on the running board. We were able to ease off out of the corner. Because that whole time, you know, we had 2 wheels off the ground, and I backed up a little, one on the ground. So we were doing all that with 1 wheel still off the ground. Got it backed around enough so that I could go back up the hill and turn around and call it a day. So anyway, we're having fun, but I'm learning more and more. This characteristics is totally different on a Jeep than it is on a side-by-side. I'm learning that. So anyway, we had fun, had a lot of fun. Now, we may go one more day trail down by Penrose. We got to decide that. But it's time to go eat supper. We're tired. But this Jeep is a lot of fun, you know, and it's a cheap way to have fun with these. You know, I paid $3,000 for the Jeep, and of course I've got a couple thousand in accessories and axles and all the stuff we've done. So I'm still fairly cheap, and it works, and it seats 4. I got a roll bar, I got 4 seat belts. I'm so happy. So I hope you enjoyed the review, and we'll see you next time.